The morning of. Leanie, what do you think? This is the more. Oh, she thinks she's smacking Nancy in the head. I think I have the volume too high. It's not bad.
Yes, and Linda was disappointed that there was no press in the paper again this morning. She's getting a little spoiled. Look at her sitting on me. Lena, look at the camera, Lena.
Lena.
A lot of people praying for Paris on the.
Oh my God, that was terrible. Morning of.
I bought you this because you said
Chocolate cupcakes.
Yeah, because you don't get them that often. So.
Chocolate cupcakes, tasty cakes.
Tasty cakes.
Hey, Katie.
Cupcakes.
There was a much younger Katie in the film.
Oh yeah, she was just a little. Here we go. She eats her breakfast.
Lena.
Got it. Without teeth, she's still good.
No teeth.
No teeth.
Teeth? No teeth. Teeth? Teeth.
Oh yeah, getting ready for a busy day today. Gonna be a big day today for all of us. So I'm surprised that they didn't sleep a bit later, but they're up.
Will it ever end?
Yeah.
Will it ever end? The
Will
publicity.
Yeah, I know.
Good reviews.
Mm-hmm.
You're the star.
So they say, yeah, but you're the one should get all the credit because you did all the work. So,
Well,
yeah.
we'll see. If I get my promotion, it was then I
Then
did
it
the
was
work.
worth it, huh?
No, it was worth it either way.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Gives
But
you
it
something.
is nice to be recognized. I'm not denying that.
You like that?
Being recognized?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, but it takes a lot of hard work to be recognized.
It does.
A lot of stress, hard work. Lots
A
and
lot
lots
of rejections.
Yeah, that goes with it from the get-go. Yeah. But if it pays off, then it's worth it.
That's the thing. What if it doesn't pay off? What if you don't get the acknowledgement?
Yeah,
Then is
but-
it still worth it?
I think so. I think so. Look at all the satisfaction and all the people and places you've been. So I think it's worth it.
Grocery store in Cotton Street, and she took me to your house when you were, the twins were just born.
With the scope and
You know, well, just when first
You guys, can I say 10 seats?
these are.
5. Oh, how many's on the other side?
Perfect. Oh, you patrons of the arts.
Really excited to share this film with you, and I want to welcome Linda Brown, our director. And you probably know her better than me, but Linda's very accomplished.
Wow, this is pretty overwhelming. But it's wonderful. I thank everyone for coming out. Afterwards, there will be a little Q&A. My mother, who just turned 90 this year, is with us. I wanted to have my mom at the Q&A in festivals in Philadelphia, in New York, and my film wasn't getting into those festivals. And so it was interesting because when I finally said to my sister Nancy, who I have to thank also because she invited many of the people in the audience, and I said something about, but I wanted Mom to be in New York, and she said, I think that's your fantasy. Her fantasy's Reading. So it worked out perfect, and again, I thank everyone for coming. Enjoy the film, and I'll remember this. Thank you.
My question is, how does a filmmaker, and I'm just only going to ask one and then anyone else, how does a filmmaker with such personal feelings and, you know, everything that has to be affecting you from living through it, how do you approach it and then, you know, do the film? It's to me, that would be, it's hard to watch it. I mean, it's emotionally draining, and how do you deal in making it?
I don't know if I know the answer. Well, I lived it, and I just thought that it's a story that needed to be shared. I'm sure, I believe that there are probably many variations of this story.
Oh, definitely.
And we just don't want to talk about a lot of these things. I think we don't want to talk about what really goes on in families. I think we don't want to talk about how we let our parents go. So all those conversations, I think we don't want to talk about men who deal with depression. And so I just thought that if I could start a conversation around some of those issues, that I think a lot more people will want to talk. You have another
Well,
question?
I don't want to keep talking. Someone else have a question?
I want to congratulate you and thank you for the gift of this movie. And especially you, Mom. I think that your willingness to talk to your daughter and your willingness to have her put your conversation and this film on film for us to see has given a great gift to all of us who have a dad that, you know, was kind of like your husband, or a family that's like your family. There's great comfort for us out there from this movie, and I think you're a remarkable woman for helping to make it come to fruition.
Well,
She deserves, they both deserve all the credit. She made the film, she put in a lot of work, a lot of time, and Nancy was her backup for a lot of things. And I'm so proud of Linda that she did make the film, and if it could help anybody anyway, then I'm very happy about it.
Mom, where does your resilience come from? Was your mother the same way? You're so strong.
Where did your resilience come from? Was your mother the same way? You're so strong.
Yes, my mother was very, I take after my mother. I'm the first generation American, and my mother came from Poland, and she came alone. My dad had to come here first, because at that time you had to have a job and you had to have a place to stay. And he came first, got himself a job in a foundry, and then he sent over my mother. My mother had two of my older brothers. One was 3 years old and one was 1, and she came over all by herself to America, and we settled down. And then I come from a family of 13. I am the youngest, and I have one more sister alive, and she's 2 years older than I am. I had 5 brothers and 5 sisters living at the time, so yes, she was very resilient, and I hope it rubbed off on me. And I'll tell you one thing, my daughters are resilient also.
Did you know much about Josephine?
do you know much about Josephine?
Josephine, Pat's mom. Grandma. What do you know about her? Did you know much about her?
Oh, well, you know, just like any newly married couple, I always, well, you always want your mother-in-law to like you. You
had a tough one there. Yeah, that was a tough one to get.
Yeah. However, I will say, she outlived my husband by a few years. She was 101 when she passed, and I never argued with her, never in my life. I may not have approved of a lot of things that she said or did, but for some reason I respected her, and I got along with her as best I could. even though she gave my husband a hard time, but that's past history. So, yeah, I did the best I can, and I'm still here and doing my best.
Did Josephine have any other children?
Josephine had one more son besides Stan, and that was a younger son. Yes.
Did he know his father?
Yes, yes. And the man that the father, his brother, he adopted Stanley at the age of 16, which was a tough thing to do because Stanley always thought that was his real father, biological, but it wasn't. So it made it a little rough for him.
Did your husband talk to you much about the relationship that he had with his mother? Did you, as you were a young couple, did he share with you much about his mother?
Well, not too much. Stanley was he joined the Navy right out of high school, and I did meet her a few times, and she was a very nice person, but I don't think she was ready to give up Stanley. I think she wanted him to herself, but she overcame that. But I mean, it was tough going a lot of times, but we endured it, so it worked out okay.
That scene when your dad's in the nursing home, I guess, with his mother, like, that was so startling. Did she know that that was her son?
I always laugh when I've been asked this, and I say, I took that footage, by the way. I shot that footage in the nursing home. My grandmother was tough. She was a tough customer, and I felt like she knew that it was him. It was difficult to witness. It was very difficult to witness. But I felt like she did know what was going on.
It was so powerful, and he wanted her love,
Oh.
so badly.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyone else? Yes.
It must have been very emotional for Mom and Nancy the first time you've seen the whole movie. Sit down and really watched it. That must have been some kind of.
I found that the saddest, made me the saddest, was how hard Linda took his death, and that surprised me.
Well, I didn't let go. That's why I made the film for 10 years, so I delayed letting go, that's for sure. But I didn't know that. That's interesting.
So you found the ending piece of the Christmas where you talked. Did that make you want to go back and look at all your other footage that your family took over the years and try to see if there's anything you missed over?
Well, it's interesting. I knew all the really old footage, the 8mm, Super 8, because it was expensive. I knew that footage. I watched it a lot as I was growing up. What got to be interesting is when you started to take video, because people were videotaping more than they ever watched. And so there was a real difference between the film footage and the video footage. I've had finished the film 3 different times, and I was working with my editor. And I kept calling my siblings and saying, does anybody have any more any footage that I should know about before I finish this film? And it was no, no, no. And then I think, okay, this is it, it's locked. This is really locked for the 3rd time. And then my brother Paul said, well, I think I have some footage, but it was in my garage and it might have gotten wet. No, it was in the attic. I think I should get it to you. And so I'm like, okay, get it to me. And it was Saturday night, I teach, it was right before spring break. I had my red glass of wine, I'm sitting there, I've seen all this footage, and I look at it and this stuff comes up. And I thought, oh my God, I got scared. This is one of a very long tape. He told stories about each of the children, little vignettes about each of us, and the stories were very representational of our personalities. And the grandchildren, a memory that he had and how he related to them. And then he faded down, and I thought that was it. And then it fades back up, and he says, but this part's for Natalie. And that's the part that we used in the film. So after I saw it, I was like, oh my God, I can't, this film is not finished. interestingly enough, I had a lot of the footage in about like the 50th anniversary that he talked about in that tape, so I thought this is the ending, we have to end it. But my big dilemma was, do I call my sister Nancy or do I call my editor? Do I call my sister Nancy or do I call who do I call first? And I think I called Nancy first. I had to say it because
When
she's
she's
here,
with
right?
the editor, she says, and I call you.
So, but not that much changed. I mean, we did go back and we reshaped it for that ending, but not a big difference. He was shocked too, how we just thought, oh my God, this was just going to fall into place the way it was meant to be. It was kind of scary that way, but thank God an ending. Or I'd still be cutting. Yes.
What's next?
I don't have another project that I'm shooting now, but I have sabbatical in the spring, and I plan to travel with the film, both here and we're planning a trip to Poland.
We want to go to Poland with it, and we have a lead on getting there with a school she has an affiliation with, that USC does, yeah.
And some more festivals that I know about.
There's a
How's
question.
the family dynamics today? Is the family still close? Are you all at peace?
That's the next film. Well, everyone was invited to this screening, and this is who's here.
And my family, my husband and my son.
And cousins, we have cousins here
yes, cousins
tonight.
are
Our
here.
Cousins who were in it. in the home
Nephews, we
movies.
have my mom's nephews here. Yep, and great nephews.
Not want this made.
No, everyone was fine about it being made. That's a great question. I made sure before I in any way made it public that everyone screened it and approved of it. And signed off on it, so. It was interesting because I gave it to my brother and he was like, yeah. I gave it to my sister Sue, and there's tension between us. And of course, as a filmmaker, I'm thinking she's gonna look at it tonight and she's gonna call me tomorrow and I get an answer. I don't hear from her for about a week or two. And in my mind, I'm getting a lawyer, she has a lawyer, all that kind of stuff. But it was none of that. She just, she eventually emailed me and she said, I was busy. Of course, she has a life. And she said, it's not my version of our family, but it's your version and I think it's a good film. So.
We've got mine for next film.
I know, you're trying to get me, I don't know, maybe you're ahead of me. I don't really, a couple ideas. I do know one thing, I don't want to work alone again. I want to work with someone else. I actually, because I teach, I'm interested in, and I'm getting more interested in this, the difference between, or the similarity, or just to explore it, people of my generation and a much younger generation in terms of how we see morals and ethics. I keep being drawn to that idea. Is it the same? Is it different? I know people, a lot of people say, oh, the younger people don't have morals and ethics. I don't think that's true, and I'd like to explore that.
I just would like to say that my mother and Stanley's mother were sisters. In fact, my mother just died. She also was 101. And we really enjoyed this film because her, Linda, who is my niece, we could relate to these people so much because actually they resembled so much of my mother, and of course there were like 12 of those. I didn't know if you realized that. There were 12 brothers and sisters of Josie. And then my grandmother and grandfather who came from Poland. And we could see their faces in that film. So we really found it really interesting.
I have great 8mm footage of your grandparents, of my
Yes.
great-grandparents, so I didn't make it into the film, but it's great, and it still
I
holds
bought
up.
Kinjadek, yes.
Yes, yeah. Any other last questions?
Well, I think it's the universal.
Linda, why don't you brag about your credentials a little?
No, this is my friend from high school. I teach at USC. I teach cinematography at USC, and I recently became head of the cinematography department. So what I'm proud of is that I'm really trying to nurture women in technology, especially women in cinematography. That's like my big campaign. That's part of what I would do when I go to visit Poland, is take a lot of the work from our women over there, and then they have a famous Polish film school that's really well known for its cinematography, and bring some of their work back and share it across the ocean.
Well, I think it was so.
you know, with those universal themes of family and parents and relationships and love and what has been and what will be, I thank you. It was excellent.
Your reaction to the film?
It was a tremendously emotional film.
So emotional.
Really well
Beautifully
paced. I was blown away. I was stunned.
It was really explored a lot of the
really good
dynamics.
film.
Yeah, it was very emotional.
My favorite part of the film was obviously the ending, but just a lot of identification, as Noreen was saying, with all our families in that from that generation.
The part of everything.
Yes.
Yes. My favorite part was when the father spoke to the mother finally and told her what he should have told her in person, but at least it was there. I was happy for that.
Okay, thank you guys.
Good. Thank you.
Favorite part of the film?
I thought the whole in its entirety was good. I had some situations with my folks. You know, my dad had Alzheimer's, and it was kind of a sad ending, but I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you.
Yep.
It was beautiful.
It was an amazing film. Well done.
Favorite part?
Very interesting. Your dad's speech. Your grandfather's speech. Excuse me. Yeah, very nice. Yes. It was a great ending. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy some cake. Thank you.
I don't know, I mean, I've said it before, I just really appreciate that everyone came out tonight and joined us. I'm glad that I could do this with my mother. I was a little worried. I said, if I don't get that film out there soon, she might not be with us. So thank God I got it out in time. And I just really appreciate that everybody is helping me celebrate. And that hopefully from the film we can be better people.
Amen.
Let's eat some cake.